So before anyone says that this is not how I usually read, I want to correct you and tell you that actually, every time I read a book, I get dressed up just like this. But let's switch the aim. So when it comes to gender, the most obvious changes and the ones I felt the most have been those that we regard as privilege. I don't think I really knew what male privilege meant until I came out, and more so until I was perceived as a woman out in the world. I want to start with male privilege, which is something that I've lost. I don't have it anymore. I guess I could try to have it. I could try to speak in like a lower tone and like get dressed a certain way and maybe not shave for a while or whatever. But that just kind of feels like I'm putting on an act. And it doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like myself. I'm a woman, so I'm perceived as a woman. The world sees me as one. That is how I experience life. Walking in the dark is now kind of scary. The other night, I met up with someone at a place not too far from my house. I realized the walk home was kind of under an underpass and I was wearing heels. I asked them to walk me home, and that's something I never would have done before. I had them walk me home. It felt a lot better. The night no longer feels as safe. I used to kind of like the dark. I still like the dark. I like how it kind of makes you more creative, makes you think shapes are other things. And I think within my room, there's a lot of safety in the dark. But otherwise, out in the world, sometimes I go out dancing by myself, and I always take lifts there and back. I like the function where I can be prioritized to have a woman or a non-binary person pick me up, so that's cool. And it feels different. The night is different. When I walk in the street, I'm a lot more aware of where men are relative to me. I have to be. I feel exposed. I feel like I have to kind of have my guard up in a way I didn't before. I tend to just ignore men, and when I do respond, that's been the few times I've gotten some pretty hateful things said to my face, so it's usually best to just ignore people, in my opinion. And when I say people, it's usually men who try to talk to me at night. I think it's very strange that it's not just known across the world over that if you talk to a woman at night, it's considered creepy and you really shouldn't do it. So yeah, that's something I'd never really had to deal with before. Even during the day, maybe across the street if there's a group of guys. I don't know, it's kind of twofold, because one of it's like maybe they'll be sexist, the other is maybe they'll be transphobic. I just find it easier to avoid them. But yeah, I think I had massive male privilege before, even though it wasn't something I was super aware of. I knew it was something that existed, but it's different when you're experiencing it. I don't think it's really easy to understand male privilege until you lose it. Oftentimes we don't know what things are until they've kind of gone away. That's certainly how I feel. The outside world has become a lot more scary in a way that it wasn't before. Male privilege was walking at home at night by myself, was not really minding who was around me, was kind of being oblivious to the danger and the creepiness of men. I would really move through the world, I'd say, pretty freaking oblivious. I started to see it when I was non-binary and I would, be rocking a beard and a miniskirt, but now even more so, I tend to pass, especially from a distance. So yeah, it's kind of scary. People don't listen to me the way they used to. Maybe it's all in my head, but sometimes I feel like I'm not taken as seriously because I'm a woman. Like, I don't really know what I'm talking about, or I don't really know what I'm doing, or like I'm not predisposed to be a leader. So that's one thing for sure. I've lost male privilege, but I don't know, sometimes people are nicer to me. I think there's definitely pretty privilege. Sometimes cars will stop for me. And then I just have to be more aware of certain things I just wasn't aware of before. Like, if I'm too nice to somebody, they might ask me for my number. If I go to a club dressed in an outfit that makes me feel affirmed and happy, someone might ask me for a number. And I might be seen as disposable by some people. Like, if I don't give them my number, if I don't give them what they want, then they're fine not knowing me. It's not really like, hey, how's it going? Let's find some common ground and see if we can connect. It's more of a, can I get this thing out of you? And if I can't get that thing out of you, then, well, farewell. That's been interesting. Like I said, I feel like a very self-aware teenager. My body's changing, things are moving, things are growing. And while my body is changing, society is changing around me. I think there's a real reflection with how we're seen versus how we're treated. To be treated as a woman is beautiful, empowering. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But it does mean I move through the world a little more cautiously. I mean, I still go out, I still have fun, I wear sexy outfits, and I feel good. But lately I've been going to lesbian bars because I feel safer there. Not to say that there isn't abuse regardless of gender, but in my experience, at least here in the Bay Area, the lesbian bars are pretty great. And even though I'm losing male privilege, I'm also finding community and finding friends that treat me as myself. Maybe it's the greatest privilege, because coming out is no guarantee that the people around you will treat you the way you want to be treated. But I don't know, shout out to my friend Emily, who's been a solid rock. We've talked, almost every day. And to be seen by her, to be loved by her has just been a beauty. And she's the first friend I've had that treats me as a woman, like a best friend. I really never had a best friend before. I'm not saying that men don't have best friends, but I personally never got really close with people. And now talking about emotions and feelings and thoughts and ideas, and I don't know, it feels easier to connect with people in a way that it didn't. Some of this transformation is uniquely trans, like uniquely feeling like I'm myself. I don't think that cis people suddenly gain a lot of confidence in puberty. I certainly didn't. But being treated as a trans person and coming out and experiencing people who respect me and who love me as I am gives me so much confidence. So it's really been beautiful coming out and having this interesting mixture of navigating womanhood and femininity, discovering what that even means. I'm still figuring it out. And also finding confidence for finally feeling like I'm myself. And yeah, I lost male privilege. I've gained some privileges. I have to walk through the world in a more careful way. I found new friendships, new love, and new experiences, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But it's really fascinating just to see how things change when people perceive you differently. I've gained so much confidence and happiness that everything's wonderful. And yeah, of course, I still have a therapist and I still deal with depression and anxiety. But sometimes I remember how important this is. Like today, it's the afternoon. I've been wanting to work on this video all day, but I guess I couldn't really muster it. I work in a job where I have to wear jeans and a t-shirt every day. And I found some great jeans, and I at least got the women's t-shirts, but every so often I need to cleanse and not be in a mall and just wear what I want to wear. So in some form of conclusion, being a woman means being myself. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.